A tanker carrying 1 million barrels of oil that had previously called at Russian ports exploded near Libya. This is the fifth time that ships calling at ports off the Russian coast have been damaged, Bloomberg reports. The Vilamoura is being towed to Greece, where the damage will be assessed upon arrival. According to a TMS Tankers spokesman, the explosion caused water to enter the tanker, causing the engine room to flood. It is not yet known what exactly caused the explosion, the company added. The company spokesman added that there was no contamination as a result of the explosion and the entire crew was safe. The explosion caused the vessel to leak and water to enter the engine room, said a spokesman for the tanker's operator, TMS Tankers. According to Bloomberg, Vilamoura called at the Russian port of Ust-Luga in April, where it loaded Kazakh oil, not Russian. In May, the tanker also visited the Caspian Pipeline Consortium terminal near the port of Novorossiysk, which mainly exports oil from Kazakhstan. According to the consulting company Vanguard Tech, since the beginning of the year, more ships have exploded after visiting Russian ports. Bloomberg recalled that in February 2025, Ukrainian drones attacked a facility of the Caspian Pipeline Consortium on Russian territory, through which 80% of Kazakhstan's oil exports pass. On June 17, the tanker Adalin, which is part of the Russian Shadow Fleet, caught fire in the Gulf of Oman between Oman and Iran. The fire occurred after a collision with the vessel Front Eagle. Earlier, the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine reported that the aggressor country Russia is illegally transferring oil between tankers in the open sea off the coast of Greece and Cyprus. Since July 2024, the Russian Federation has been using an Aframax tanker IMO 9247443 for oil transshipment, without Western insurance. Ukrainian intelligence noted that in the fourth year of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, oil and gas exports remain a key source of income for Russia's budget. According to estimates, a third of these revenues in 2025 are used to finance the war.
Ukraine is set to ramp up production and use of long-range drones, with the frequency and scale of strikes inside Russian territory expected to grow. Defense Minister Rustem Umerov said, last year Ukraine developed a plan for systematic long-range operations and contracted several tens of thousands of long-range drones. Umerov noted, this has made it possible to regularly carry out high-precision strikes against critical targets deep behind enemy lines. He added that drone deliveries are proceeding according to schedule and that operations are conducted daily, in line with established plans. About 2 weeks ago, a decision was made to increase the number of operations several times over. Umerov stated, experts say that Russians are in a panic from this news. Earlier, it was reported that Ukraine's security service and special operations forces announced today that they destroyed 2 Russian Su-34 fighter bombers and damaged 2 more during a joint long-range drone strike on the Marinivka airfield in Russia's Volgograd region. The Ukrainian defense forces have successfully attacked the Russian military airfield Marinovka in the Volgograd region, destroying at least 2 Su-34 multi-role fighters. This was reported on the air of the Freedom TV channel by a serviceman of the territorial defense and military analyst Alexander Musienko. According to him, this operation is reminiscent of the special operation Web, when Ukrainian drones attacked strategic aviation airfields deep in the rear of the Russian Federation. The cost of one such Su-34 is estimated at about $50 million. The Kremlin, of course, does not admit that Russian aviation has suffered great damage, but all this is visible on social networks. It is impossible to hide, no matter how hard Russian propaganda and Russian special services try to regulate the information space. The Ukrainian operation demonstrated Russia's serious vulnerability. I call the strike on the airfield in the Volgograd region Little Web. It was not a big special operation web, but further web will be woven from such small ones, he believes. He added that the destruction and damage of 4 Su-34 fighters was a serious blow to Russia. Military analyst Alexander Musienko emphasized that the joint special operation of the Security Service of Ukraine and the Special Operations Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine was extremely effective. 2 aircraft were completely destroyed and 2 more require lengthy repairs. All 4 aircraft were ready for combat sorties and were supposed to strike Ukraine. In addition, Ukrainian drones managed to destroy the technical infrastructure of the Marinovka airfield, which significantly complicated its further use. In the future, we will see an increase in strikes on Russian territory. If Russia has terrorist and aggressive plans, then we have our own plans to defend ourselves, protect ourselves, and strike military targets on Russian territory. And our campaign envisages strikes on such targets in the summer and fall, Musienko summed up. The Kremlin's main mouthpiece, Vladimir Solovyov, who has been ridiculing Ukraine and singing Putin's praises for years, suddenly admitted on air that the Russian army is left without a sufficient number of drones and equipment, and the Ukrainian armed forces outnumber the Russian Federation in drones several times over. The broadcast attracted the attention of Ukrainian journalist and blogger Denis Kazanski. In his latest broadcasts, Solovyov stated that Russian troops at the front are losing the technological competition en masse. According to him, in some areas the Ukrainian armed forces have a 1.5 to 3 times superiority in UAVs, and Russian industry has proven unable to quickly establish production of even heavy drones. The same Solovyov, who never tired of repeating about small and poor Ukraine, now admits that this insignificant Ukraine is calmly surpassing the Russian Federation in key war technologies, despite all the stories about the great power. The presenter justifies himself by freezing the economy, although he recently assured that sanctions are senseless. Now it has suddenly become clear that Russian factories are not capable of producing either equipment, optics, or drones in the required volumes. The irony is that even Solovyov himself lets it slip. There is money in the country, but it is dissolved in corruption and luxury yachts instead of reaching the army. His most revealing words are, "Give everything to the front. Why can't we give it?" But Solovyov diligently forgets to clarify that for 25 years the same great manager, Putin, has been at the helm, who portrays strength on television but in practice has left his army without vehicles and drones. Perhaps this admission sounds the main thing. Ukraine, which Russian propaganda for many years called a failed project, territory without a future, and country of drug addicts, Solovyov himself is forced to admit, is more effective and flexible. Ukraine was able to build a system of drones and volunteer support which not only holds the front but also ruins the plans of the world's second army.